Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Here we are again, our fourth lecture in this series of Svadhyaya Intensive. Again, very happy to be here. It really feels like a real seminar, and I hope you're enjoying the classes, and that also you're starting to investigate at home a little bit what we are talking about, and also practicing. It will be very nice to see who we have here. So hi Anati, to Anats. Hi, thank you for saying you're here. So what we are going to do this evening, we will start with a practice of about 10 minutes to prepare the mind. This morning we saw that we can create this kind of a meditative mind, a mind that doesn't color or doesn't block the object that we want to investigate or to study. So we're practicing. The object is for now is the breath, but of course we know that the minute we will start our investigation into the nature of the self, the Svadhyaya, then it will not be only the breath that we want to investigate or to study, but the nature of the mind. So we're going this evening, we're going to look at the mind and the nature of also ourselves. And then also this morning we talked about the sources of suffering. We saw the clashes, and I hope we understand better why the fact that we don't distinguish between these two svas, the mind and ourselves, or if now it is still a little bit not clear, it will be clear very soon. So why this, the fact that we don't distinguish between these two eventually causes us to suffer. And we also experimented, I hope you were able to see it, how easily it is that the minute there is this distinction between us and the mind, how immediately the suffering is no longer there. And of course, we are going to see it more clearly later on. Okay, so hi, Swati and Rami, and everybody that is here. Very nice to see you. Okay, so ready for practice. I hope you are sitting in a comfortable place. So let's create a meditative mind again. And I remind you, for me, it's always like this game. You know, it's always I do the meditation practice as something like playful or with curiosity and with a little smile to see how the mind is today and how I can transform it. And so don't be very, very serious. Just be curious about what is going on and what you can do. And even if it is difficult, you will see you can still make an effort again and again to still the mind and make it clear. So let us start. Sit in a comfortable way, close your eyes. Nothing interesting to see here. Take a few moments to arrange the body. Make sure it's comfortable and steady, so you will be free to work with the mind. And make sure that the breath is also relaxed, that there is no tension there. And if it's a little bit agitated, you can slowly just start to breathe a little bit more subtle breathings, a little bit more slow, and you will see that the breath relaxes slowly. And then check the quality of the mind this evening, how it is after the whole day. So maybe you will see it is full of thoughts and ideas and occupied with a lot of stuff, a lot of movement there. This is the Kshipta mind or the Rajasic mind. It's very easy to observe. And maybe the mind is tired after all this day, the Muda mind or the Tamasic mind. And this is also something we can notice. You will feel like everything is a little bit blurry, and maybe my voice is coming from somewhere very far away, and you know, the things are not very clear, and it's completely okay. You know, the mind changes with the actions, with the activities of the day. Or maybe the mind is quiet and calm, already in a way focused. And then remind yourself that you are practicing actually the most important ability that we can develop in this life. The ability to use the mind, to make it a meditative mind, so we get knowledge of the things as they are. And we practice this ability of putting attention, using it to hold things and to let go of things, which is also, for me, the most important ability we have in this life, or one of them. So come to the practice with this curiosity and with this a little bit enthusiasm to know you are doing something very, very useful. And then when you're ready, gently direct your attention to the breath. See that immediately you become aware of the breath. And you can notice when you inhale and when you exhale. And it doesn't matter how the breath feels. It doesn't matter what ideas you have about the breath or about the practice, if it's difficult or if you want to open your eyes or if it's boring. Just see that whenever you want, you are able to direct the attention back to the breath and just be aware of each inhale and exhale. And see that in that moment, the mind is stable and clear, even if it's only for a moment. And then when your attention goes away or when something comes up, see that in that moment you lose sight of the breath. It's like something is standing between you and the breath. Some emotion, some idea, some feeling, a sound. And just notice that for that moment, you do not see the breath as it is blocked. And then remind yourself that you have the ability to not to hold with your attention things that you're not interested to investigate. And then just release whatever took your attention away or whatever came between you and the breath. And then turn your attention back to the breath and become aware again of each inhale and exhale. See the effort you have to put. Remember the tapas you have to put to keep the practice. This will always be. Don't worry about it. But see the choice that you have again and again to do abhyasa, direct the attention to the breath, and do vairagya, let go of everything that is different than the breath, everything that is blocking the view of the breath. And every time you return to the breath, see the stability of the mind created and the clarity, how whatever took your attention away reaches nirodha, comes to an end. And for a moment, there is this clarity, nothing is between you and the breath. So we stay here for 10 minutes. I'm challenging you, okay? Because some difficulty is going to come and tiredness. And I want you to see that doesn't matter what takes your attention away. You can always, if you want, return to the breath. You can always let go of what took your attention away. And whatever it was, it will come to an end and your mind will be stable again on the breath. Okay, so 10 minutes. Check what is happening as you go. Continue again and again to direct your attention to the breath. Let go of everything that is blocking your view of the breath. Doesn't matter how many times your attention goes away or is blocked. Every time you want, see that you're able to put an effort to release attention and to direct it back to the breath. 2 more minutes. Now gently release your attention. Take a deep breath, and maybe one moment before you open your eyes, check again the quality of your mind. See how it is now. And then when you feel ready, please open your eyes. So I hope the practice becomes more clear. If you have some questions regarding the practice, please do ask. It is very important that you understand the practice, because this is something I really advise you to keep on a daily basis, to have the ability to use the mind in its most perfect way, so it will give you the right knowledge about things. And we can remind ourselves again and again why it is so important to see the things as they are, is because this lack of knowledge or the wrong knowledge is the source of suffering. So actually, every time you see yourself suffering from something, you can be sure that there is wrong knowledge inside of you about this thing. And I said it before, we usually think that things outside of us are responsible for our suffering, like the government and the weather and my mother and stuff like this. But none of them is responsible for our suffering. In a way, we are responsible for our suffering because we have this lack of knowledge or wrong knowledge in us. And well, this is unavoidable, you know. We are not responsible on about the knowledge that we have gained so far, because knowledge is something that all the time we collect, whether we want it or not, through the senses and through our life experiences. So whatever knowledge we already have, which is not very accurate and causes us suffering, this is unavoidable, but it is our responsibility, since we became adults, to re-educate ourselves and to investigate into the nature of things and into the nature of ourselves. And this is, as we said, exactly the process of Svadhyaya. So think how wonderful it is that nobody else is responsible for our suffering but ourselves, so we can do something about it. for me, again, it is one of the most amazing things about yoga. Okay, so let us talk a little bit more, maybe down to earth, daily life, about the things that we suffer from. So because we have to understand what we have wrong knowledge about. So if you want to participate, it will be nice if you can write a few things that cause you suffering in the daily life. What are the sources of suffering so far for us? And of course, I can give also examples, but it's the more it is personal, then the better for our teaching. So if you want to write a few examples of or things that are responsible or that causes you suffering, that cause you to suffer during the day, it will be nice. But if we look, if I start to see what, well, the moments that I suffer during the day, it can be, for example, when there is some kind of pain in the body. I can see suffering coming. I can see suffering whenever I feel uncomfortable or some emotions that are created inside that give, well, create suffering. I can see change, for example, as a source of suffering. You know, when I want things to continue as they are, and they become, well, when they change, losing them is a source of suffering. Anat is writing to discover that I made a mistake in work makes me suffer. Very good. So this idea that we have not performed something well, or we didn't succeed. Yeah, what else? People saying stuff that I don't like them to say causes suffering. So we can see, you know, a lot of things that are source of suffering. Fear, economic fear. Very good, Efrat. So I think we all know what I'm talking about. These things, even this, you know, some just this like dissatisfaction, inner dissatisfaction with myself or with my boyfriend or whatever, with the weather, not being able to travel. All these things are sources of, or, well, appear to be sources of suffering, or we struggle with them. So I think we can see, yeah, we all know what we talk about. So, and also maybe also important to say, even like sometimes nice things or pleasant experiences cause me to suffer because of the fear of losing them. And then sometimes I see that my attachment to things cause me suffer. My desire to keep pleasant experiences causes me suffering. Yeah, separating from a loved one, Sarah is saying. So we can see all these different ideas that we have why we suffer. But we can take all of these things and eventually say what causes us to suffer is this inner feeling of dukkha, of, remember, the contraction of the inner space. So if I make a mistake in work, it is this inner contraction, this dukkha, that is making me suffer. Or if I have this economic fear, financial fear, then the moment I think about my future, I will feel this contraction, and this contraction makes me suffer. Or when I have to separate from a loved one, and only this feeling of separation, of losing something that I love, is a cause of suffering. So, and even if we take different emotions, like anxiety or depression or envy, all of them we will see create in us this feeling of contraction. And when people say stuff to me, or, you know, things change when I don't want them to change, all of it is eventually only this contraction inside of us. So for me, this is very interesting, because we think there is like this wide selection of things that are the source of suffering. But actually, if we look what is the common thing of all of these experiences, all of them result in this dukkha, in this contraction of the inner space. And imagine if something was causing us expansion, sukham, it would not be considered as suffering or a cause of suffering. It will be, we would say, oh, this brings me pleasure. It's a source of pleasure. It's not a source of suffering. So whatever experience in this life can be external or internal, even memories are a source of suffering. But which memories? Not the pleasant ones, not the ones that causes us to expand when we remember them, but only memories that do this, of the heart, it. These ones, whenever there is, this contraction is involved in something, memory, thought, emotion, then we suffer. But now think about this. Even this contraction that is really unpleasant, and we saw when we talked about the kleshas that when this contraction happens, immediately we try to avoid it. We want to expand. Even this contraction that is so unpleasant doesn't have to be a source of suffering. When or why is it a source of suffering for us? For the same reason that everything is a cause of suffering, because we have wrong knowledge about it. So even this big contraction, even the biggest contraction we have, if we had the right knowledge about it, and we saw it when we talked about the kleshas, if we knew for sure that we are different than this contraction, that we are not the one that are contracting, we had this complete distinguishment. I don't know if you can say that, but we distinguish completely the two things, the contraction from us. If we had right knowledge about contraction, then even contraction will not be the source of suffering. So imagine, again, as I said before, there is nothing to solve. There is nothing to change. We don't need to avoid unpleasant feelings, the feelings that cause us to contract. We don't have to avoid unpleasant people or places or anything. The only thing we have to do is to get right knowledge about our inner experience of this contraction that we think that is a cause, that we think is suffering, but actually the knowledge is the cause of suffering from this feeling. And then again, this is why yoga is so easy, because there is actually nothing to change, nothing to heal. Even traumas, very bad memories, we don't need to heal them. And I see a lot of therapy traditions, all of them are trying to fix our bad emotions. They try to take a bad memory and make peace with it and turn it to something pleasant, or I don't know what. But the yoga is not concerned with that at all. It only says, okay, please investigate into the nature of this phenomena, of this contraction, or in the phenomena of everything, the nature of the situations outside or phenomena outside, the nature of your mind and the different things that go on there. And then you will be, and the moment you have right knowledge about it and you can distinguish yourself from it, you will no longer suffer even when it comes. And then we can eventually or finally, distinction, thank you, Sarah. Then we can finally live life fully, because now think, we try to divide life. We say we only want the pleasant part of life, and we try to avoid whatever is unpleasant in life. But did anyone succeed in only experiencing nice things? Even if you live in the most wonderful place, it doesn't guarantee you to have only pleasant experiences, or even if you're living with wonderful people or surrounded by wonderful stuff, nothing guarantees you that you can keep only wonderful things. So instead of trying to divide life and ignore or try to avoid what is unpleasant and only hold the pleasant, yoga tells us, please learn the nature of these experiences, the dukkha and the sukha, distinguish between these two things, and you will see there is no suffering in them, although they are still there, and then the life becomes complete and we are free to experience everything. And imagine the freedom there is to experience insult, to experience uncomfortable feelings, to experience pain, to experience anxiety and economic fear and separation or whatever. Imagine how it is to be free to feel all that, and how much as a result we can stay connected with life, and we can freely act in the life, because we can experience everything and we can still act. We don't have to avoid the things, or we don't have to try to hold to only pleasant experiences. So for this, we know we must do Svadhyaya. And so now we're going to, again, practice, but what I call, again, this analytical meditation. Now that the mind is ready, we are going to go deep to start to investigate first the nature of the little sva, which we can say is the nature of the mind, but also the body, and also the nature of external phenomena, and then the nature of ourselves. And then we have to realize the relationship between them. Before we go to the practice, maybe a few words from yoga, how the yoga calls this the things that we have to investigate. So in this, what we are going to distinguish is between two things that are called Purusha and Prakriti. Or if you want, you can call this Chit and Chitta. And I will explain the difference. Prakriti, let's start with Prakriti. Prakriti will be to the nature of everything that is perceived, the nature of everything that is this root. We saw it in Kriya Yoga, KR, that is moving or changing or existing. So we are going, this is like the, will be like to investigate into the nature of the little sva, the sva which is developing, which is changing, which is combined of everything that is moving. So it can be things that are external, like, you know, everything around us, objects, because they have the nature of change, the nature of movement. Or it can be things like sense perceptions, which arise and go away, whatever we perceive. And of course, it can be the mental activity. So if we want to refer to the whole like material world, whether it is gross or subtle, but whatever is changing and moving and temporary, then we will say Prakriti. But if we want to relate specifically only to distinguishing the mind, the movements of the mind, then we will say Chitta. Chitta is mind. So we can either identify, we can investigate Prakriti, or we can investigate the mind, or we can investigate what we so far thought was us. So it can be our identities and emotions and ideas and the body and all of these things. So for me, all of these are the same. They have the same nature, and we are going to experience it for real. We will start from very gross things, and then we will advance to more subtle things until we will be able to see everything. But then we are going to will investigate into the nature of what is called Purusha, or Chit, or the big Sva. And the word Purusha is a very special word. It means, in Sanskrit, it means the one that lives in the city. So what is the city? The city is this Prakriti, is the world of changing matter, whether it is gross or subtle, everything that is around us. But this is us, the ones that live in the changing world. And we will see that this Purusha has a completely different nature than the nature of Prakriti. If this is changing and temporary and can be perceived, then this Purusha is not changing, it's stable, it's not temporary, it's always there, and it is the perceiver, but by itself cannot be perceived. So this is the big Sva, and then we say, then Purusha is like to say ourselves. We are going to realize ourselves. We will see when we go deep in the practice that this is called, or that this is actually the part where we perceive the things from, or this part in us that is aware. We will see it. And in the yoga, they call it also Chit, this part that is aware. So Chit and Chitta, or Purusha Prakriti, or Sva with big S, or Sva with little s. So we're going to first investigate the nature of the phenomena, of what can be perceived, and then we are going to experience or to investigate into the nature of the perceiver or awareness, and afterwards we are going to investigate into the nature of their relationship, because there is a very special relationship between these two. I can say now, this for us in regular life, this relationship is, of course, doesn't exist, because we don't even distinguish between the two. And if there is kind of relationship, usually we feel that this is destroying our life. And because we know that the mind, for most of us, is the source of all our troubles, because it's the mind that doesn't let us sleep at night, and the body that wakes us up with pain, and all these disturbing thoughts and all these inner feelings that are for us a source of suffering. And many times we say, oh, if we could only put the mind aside, and then our life becomes better, or if we can silence the mind, and then we will be better. And we look for this stability of mind and peace and quiet. So now it is mostly the source of suffering, but actually it was meant to do something completely different, which we are going to discover soon. Okay, so if there are any questions, please feel free to ask. And let's start investigating. Again, I will say, if you're not well trained, maybe you will find it a little bit difficult to follow, especially as we advance into more and more subtle things to investigate. But don't worry about it. It's like, again, going to the gym. If I try to lift 20 kilos now, probably I will not be able, but if I practice daily, I will reach the point where I can do it. So even if you cannot follow the whole instructions now, just listen, and then keep your 5 minutes a day of practice, and listen again to the instructions, and eventually you will be able to do the whole investigation, and everything will become very, very clear. So please sit in a comfortable way and close your eyes. Again, take a few moments to arrange the body, make sure it's comfortable and relaxed. Make sure the breath is subtle, gentle. And again, check for a moment the quality of your mind. You should be professional in this already. So So you can easily see if it's agitated or tired or focused. And then when you feel ready, please direct your attention to the breath. And see that immediately you become aware of the breath. And you can watch or be aware of every inhale and exhale. And you already know that if something takes your attention away or something blocks your vision, your view of the breath, just let it go, release your attention from it and come back to the breath. So it might happen during my instructions, but just go back to the breath again and again. It's okay. So see that you are aware of the breath, and the breath is an object of perception. It is an object that you can perceive, that you can watch, that you can follow. So we can already say the breath is an object of perception. And now check what is the nature of the breath. And see that each inhale has a beginning, some duration, and an end. And every exhale has a beginning, some duration, continuity, and an end. And see that each inhale is temporary in its appearance. It starts, manifests, and goes away, and every exhale is temporary in its appearance. It starts, manifests, and disappears. So we can say the breath has a temporary nature. Each inhale and exhale are always temporary. They will always have a beginning. They will always continue and then end. And now continue directing your attention to the breath. And ask yourself a simple question. Who am I? Am I the breath? Or am I the one who is aware of the breath? Check. Am I the breath, or am I the one who is aware of the breath? And see very clearly that you are the one who is aware of the breath. And now check, you who are aware of the breath. Do you end when the inhale ends and disappears? You who are aware, do you start again when the exhale starts? Do you end when the exhale ends? Or do you start again when the inhale starts? And see that you who are aware of the breath, you stay there. You're not temporary like the breath. You stay aware in the same way, even when the inhale ends or when the exhale ends. And really try to see it, that you stay aware. And it doesn't matter if there is inhale or exhale, if they start or end, you stay aware in the same way. You're always there, aware of a changing temporary phenomena. And now, start to play with the breath. Make it a little bit longer, or a little bit faster, or shorter, or deep, or whatever. Play with the breath and check. You who are aware of the breath, do you change when the breath changes? Try to do little inhales and exhales and big ones and deep ones and check. You who is aware of the breath, do you change? Do you become shorter like the breath, deeper like the breath? Or do you stay aware and it is only the breath that is changing? Check. And see that doesn't matter what you do with the breath becomes shorter, not you. The breath becomes deeper, not you. You who is aware, you who are aware of the breath, you stay the same. So see that you have this unchanging, permanent nature. You are always aware. You don't start and end. You don't change with the changes of the breath. 1 minute in silence to really see this. Distinguish between yourself and the breath, between the breath that has a temporary changing nature and you who has stable and unchanging nature, permanent and unchanging nature. Watch it. And now, ask yourself, what is the relationship between you and the breath? What is the relationship between you and the breath? And see that the breath is here to serve you. The sole purpose of the breath is to serve you. To serve you in this journey in life. And then release your attention from the breath. Take a deep breath. And when you feel ready, open your eyes for a moment. We're going to take it in little steps, small steps. If you need, relax your legs and back or whatever. So, because in a moment we are going to continue investigating more, but only to make sure that all of us saw the same. Well, I assume you agree with me, but if somebody doesn't agree, then please do write so I will know and I will be able to answer any doubts. I assume all of us saw that the breath has each inhale and exhale has a beginning, a duration, and an end, correct? And we all saw that the breath was an object of perception, something that we can look at, something we can perceive. And I assume also that when we checked who are we, it was very clear that we are the one who are aware of the breath. We are watching an object, but we are not the object. We are the one that are watching the object. I assume it was very clear also. And then we checked, do we end when inhale ends, exhale ends? Do we change when the breath becomes shorter or deeper? And of course we can see, no, we don't change. The breath changes, yes. The feeling of the breath changes, yes. But we stay aware the same. We don't end when there is no breath. We are still there in between inhale and exhale. We are still there in the same way, only aware. So we can clearly see this, the distinction between us and an object of perception, or between us, the sva, the purusha, the chit, or this little sva, prakriti, and well, chitta, it's we will say when we investigate into the nature of mind. And when we check, of course, what is the relationship between these two things, then it becomes clear. The breath is here to serve us. It is part of what allows us to exist in this world. So there is this, it's like we are the masters and the breath is serving us, allowing us to exist. So if there are any doubts, please ask. So this was very clear because the breath is very gross. It's very easy to grasp it. We're going to do it also on now on sounds and body sensations. That we can do it, even both of them one after the other, I think, because it's going to be a little bit quicker. And then we are going to go into more subtle stuff. So let's see. Okay, so again, sit in a comfortable way, close your eyes, see that the body is relaxed, the breath is relaxed. And now, when you feel ready, direct your attention to the sense of hearing, to the ears, and become aware of sounds. And now maybe you're in a very silent place and there are not many sounds around you, or not at all. Then it will, of course, we will not be able to investigate, but I will do some sounds artificially. I will try. So you will still have some sounds to check the things on. But hopefully my dog will bark soon or something, and we will all be able to experience sounds. So attention is on the hearing sense. Become aware of sounds. And see that sounds are objects of perception. And you are aware of the sounds. And now start to see that every sound has a beginning, some duration, and an end. If you want, you can follow my words And see that each word, each sound I make has a beginning, a duration, and an end. And even if there is some kind of permanent sound, like the air conditioner or the refrigerator, you can know that when you turn it off or when you turned it on, it started, and eventually you can turn it off and it will stop. So even if there is a permanent sound, you can think about when it started and when it will end. So see that all sounds have a beginning, a duration, and an end. So all of them are temporary in nature. And see that how all sounds are changing. It's not only one sound. It can be different sounds, and then even inside the sound can change, like the sound of the air conditioner or the refrigerator. And now ask yourself, who am I? Am I the sounds, or am I the one who is aware of the sounds? Check. And see that it becomes very clear that we are the one who are aware of the sounds, but we are not the sounds themselves. And now check, do you end, you who are aware, do you end when a sound ends? Do you start again when a new sound comes? You who are aware, do you change when the sounds change? Check. Do you change with my words because my words are sound and they are changing? Do you change, you who are aware? Do you stop to exist when there are no sounds around? If there were no sounds, will your existence be damaged? And see that you who are aware, you have a different nature than the sounds. You are always there, aware, in the same way. You are permanent and unchanging. But the sounds, they keep changing and they are temporary all the time. So 1 moment in silence to perceive this difference between you and the sounds. And now ask yourself, what is the relationship between you and the sounds? And see how sounds serve us in this life, allowing us to know what there is around us, allowing us to communicate, allowing us to take this journey in life to continue. So again, see that there is this relationship of something that is serving us and us as in a way, masters, or the enjoyers of the sounds. And then release your attention from the sounds. Take a deep breath. If you need 1 moment to relax the body, please do. But immediately we are going to go to investigate further. into body sensations, but we are going to create them artificially to make the investigation very clear. But after, or anytime you want, you can, whenever there is body sensation, like pain or itching or something like this, if you check, you will see the same nature. But only here, we are going to create them artificially to make sure we have something to investigate, some objects. If we try to, if we don't have any body sensations at this moment, nothing particular, then like when there are no sounds, we will not be able to, of course, investigate into the nature of this phenomena. All right, so now direct your attention to the body and see that immediately you can become aware of body sensations. Maybe there is some pain or some itching. Or some tension or heat or cold. So see that you can become aware of body sensations. But just in case there is nothing particular now that you can follow, let's grade them on purpose. So just press your teeth together very strong and see this sensation coming. Hold it for a moment. See that you can be aware of this sensation in the jaw, in the teeth, in the mouth. And then release. And see that, and then do it again. You can repeat it a few times and see that the sensation that comes is an object of perception, and you are the one that is perceiving this sensation, this object. And check what is the nature of this feeling, of this sensation. And see that, like all the other objects that we have investigated so far, also this sensation has a beginning, a duration, and an end. And then release the teeth and create another body sensation. For example, you can feel your hand, pet your hand, or tickle yourself, or just squeeze some muscles. Just try to create different body sensations, whatever you want. And see that whatever body sensation you create, maybe you have some random ones, like maybe there is a fly walking on you or some pain somewhere. See that whatever body sensation you have, all of them have the same nature. They have a beginning, a duration, and an end. Play with it a little bit. So see that all body sensation, even the strongest pain, has a beginning, a duration, and an end. All of them are temporary, and all of them are changing all the time. And now ask yourself, who am I? Am I the body sensations, or am I the one who is aware of the body sensations? Check. And see that it becomes very clear that we are the one who are aware of the different body sensations, but the sensations themselves are only objects of perception. And now check, do you end when one sensation ends? Do you start again when a sensation starts? You who are aware, do you change when a sensation changes? Check. Try with it, different sensation, check. Do you start? Do you end? Do you change when the different sensations change? And see very clearly that you who are aware, you stay the same. You don't start and end with every sensation. You don't change with every sensation. You stay the same, and it's only the sensations that change. 1 minute in silence to realize this. And then slowly release your attention, release the body sensations. Take a deep breath. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. So, what did you discover? If your mind is clear and you were able to clearly see, I assume all of us discovered the same thing, that whatever we perceived, whatever we were aware of, whether there were sounds or body sensations, all of them were objects of perception. All of them had a beginning, a duration, and an end. All of them were temporary, and all of them were changing all the time. And I also assume that you have realized that you have a different nature than these phenomena. You are there all the time. You are unchanging. The sensation change. One time it's a tickle, and one time or itch, and one time it's pain, and one time different things, heat and cold. But you, again, were the only one. You were always the one who are aware of the sensations, but you yourself were different or are different than them. Did you realize? You can write to me so I will know that you were able to follow. Okay, so we stop here for a moment. Before we go, we still have to check the cheetah, which has all our thoughts and emotions and ideas and identities, and we have to see that also we are different than them. But imagine what it is to know that you are different than your body sensations, and that actually you are not disturbed when there are different sensations, and what it is to know that whatever body sensation there is, the nature of this sensation is temporary. And if we were asking, why do we have all this body sensation? Why do we have this body? Then again, the answer will be very clear. It is here to serve us in this journey. It is not us, but it is here to serve us. So again, the same relationship between the world that is perceived, the world of phenomena, the temporary changing world, and ourself. Again, this is serving us, and we are the enjoyers. We are the masters of these things. Thank you, Anati, for writing that it is very clear. Very well done. All right. So not so complicated, huh? Svadhyaya. Look, we have already gone some distance or some deepness in the investigating the Sva, and we have already realized this nature of this big Sva and the relationship between them. So well done. Ready to investigate into the nature of thoughts and then emotions and identities. So here again, we are going to create them artificially, because we must be sure we have thoughts and we have emotions if we want to investigate them. But the same with body sensations. By the way, I really invite you to, like during your, even sitting here or during your day, to watch the different body sensations, how it changes all the time, but that you are always the one who is aware of them. Then also with the thoughts, here we will do them in an artificial way, and the emotions also, but then we can go in the daily life and start to see the same thing exactly, do the investigation also during the daily life and see the same nature of thoughts and the same nature of ourselves and the relationship between them. Okay, so ready? Close your eyes again, sit in a comfortable way. Be sure you are relaxed, breath is relaxed, mind is prepared. So we are going to create artificial thoughts only for this investigation. And a thought is like a mental sentence that we say in a mental voice or words. Doesn't even have to be a voice, maybe it's only the words. But it's like a mental sentence. So we're going to create these short mental sentences that we can easily follow. So bring the thought of what a wonderful lecture. Just create these words. What a wonderful lecture. It is a thought. Not necessarily true, but a thought. What a wonderful lecture. And repeat it slowly. What a wonderful lecture. And see that this thought has a beginning. Oh, first, see that it is an object of perception, that you can perceive it, and you are aware of this thought. And then see that this thought has a beginning, a duration, and an end. What a wonderful lecture. It starts with a what and ends with a lecture. And now create the thought, what a boring lecture. And again, see that this thought is an object of perception. You are aware of this thought. And again, this thought has this temporary nature. It begins with a what and ends with a lecture. Only this time it's a very boring lecture. What a boring lecture. And then create the thought, I love myself. And see that also this thought is an object of perception. And this thought also has a beginning, a duration, and an end. And now create the thought, I hate myself. And see that also this thought has a beginning, a duration, and an end. And now start to independently create different thoughts. I want to kill myself, or I want to help everybody, or do your list of shopping, whatever. Try to create different thoughts and see that whatever thought is created, whatever thought you create, all of them have the same nature. All of them are object of perceptions. You can be aware of all of them. And all of them have a beginning, a duration, and an end. And all of them are changing all the time. I think you can even bring thoughts that are bothering you during the day. Like, I cannot do it. I'm too lazy. This is too difficult. I hate everybody. You know, whatever thoughts you have or what a mistake I did, or, whatever. You can bring really thoughts that are even hardcore, and see that whatever thought you bring, it has a beginning, a duration, and an end, and is changing all the time. And now ask yourself, who am I? Am I the thoughts? Or am I the one who is aware of the thoughts? Who are we? Are we the thoughts, or are we the ones who are aware of the thoughts? Check. Great thoughts like I like it, I don't like it. This is good, this is bad. And check, who are you? Are you the thoughts, or are you the one who is aware of the thoughts? And see how clear it is that we are the one who are aware of the thoughts. And now check, when a thought ends, do you end? When a thought begins, do you begin? When there are no thoughts, do you disappear? Check. You who is aware, do you disappear when there is no thought? And see that you don't start and end like the thoughts. You who are aware, you are always there, aware, not starting, not ending. And check, you who are aware, do you change when the thought changes? What a wonderful lecture, what a boring lecture. You who are aware of the thoughts, did you change because the thought changed? Because the feeling the thought created changes? You who are aware, did you change? And now try to even, create like really hardcore thoughts. I want to kill myself. I cannot take it anymore. I hate this person. I cannot stand my mother. Create all these really hardcore thoughts, whatever you want, and check. You who are aware of these hardcore thoughts, do you have the same nature like the thoughts? Do you start, do you end, do you change? Or is it only the thoughts and the feelings of the thoughts that changes? Check. And see that you who are aware, you stay the same. Doesn't matter what thought there is, doesn't matter the content of the thought. Even it's the most horrible thought in the world, it's not you. You are the one who is aware. It is the thought that maybe has a horrible content or a horrible expression. But you are the same. You are aware of a nice thought the same way you are aware of a horrible thought. 1 minute to contemplate on that. Just check it. And now ask yourself, what is the relationship between you and the thought? And see that the thoughts, again, are here to support our journey in life, allowing us to perceive the world. And then release. Oh, no. Before you release, think a nice thought, a happy thought. What a wonderful lecture, for example. And then release your attention from the thoughts. Take a deep breath. And when you feel ready, open your eyes. Okay, so I assume that if you were able to create these thoughts, you were. We all got the same answers. We saw that all the thoughts have a beginning and an end, and all of them change all the time, and they're objects of perception, and we are the ones who are aware of them, and we don't change. We don't end when they end. Even if there are no thoughts, we are still aware, and yeah, this is my dawn. And we don't change when they change, although the feeling changes. We can, these horrible thoughts, they make me contract, and the nice thoughts, they make me expand, but still I am aware in the same way to this nice thought or to this not so nice thoughts. So I think we all got the same ideas. And there is a question from Anat. Do I always need an object to be aware? Without objects in the world, what is the existence of awareness? So we saw that even when there are no sounds, no body sensations, no thoughts, we are still aware. But to realize that we are aware, to create this awareness, or to make it evident for us to investigate, we had to put attention on something. So for the investigation, yes, we need objects. So we put attention, and immediately we can see we become aware of the objects, and then we can see that we are the ones who are aware. But after we have realized it again and again, we have practiced it in the world, we saw the same answer again and again. Yes, we are the ones who are aware. We understand. Sorry. I hope you hear me. We understand that we are aware with objects or without objects. But then we can see that with all the objects that we have investigated so far, we have discovered exactly the same, that all of them are serving us in our journey in life. And we can say also that all of them allow us to be, and all of them allow us to become aware. Yeah, Sigal is asking what is with the dog. He's talking with the coyotes. So I think it's okay. Yeah, okay. So this was about thoughts. I hope it was clear. We have a few minutes more. Let's try to investigate a little bit into the nature of feelings. Maybe it will be a little bit delicate, but we will do anyway. And then tomorrow, of course, we will continue. So again, sit in a comfortable way. Close your eyes. And since basically all emotions can be divided into two sensations, expansion or contraction, we don't need to create too many, we don't have to create too many things. We can only be aware of the expansion and contraction. So close your eyes. And then think of somebody you love, or a place you like, or a pet you like. And immediately see a nice emotion, expansion arising inside of you. Maybe you call it love or joy, but you can see this feeling of expansion. And see that you are the one who is aware. And see that this expansion is an object of perception. And now think of somebody who hurt you, or a place that you really don't like, or a very uncomfortable situation you've been in, or some disturbing situation. And see that immediately the sensation, the emotion changes into contraction. Think of somebody that made you angry or whatever. But see that this contraction, you can be aware of it. It is an object of perception. And then just for one moment, create an expansion, thinking of nice things, thinking of, you know, something that brings you joy or whatever. And a moment later, think about something horrible that happened or something that brings fear and contraction. And see that the feeling of expansion has a beginning, a duration, and an end. And also the emotions, the feeling of contraction has a beginning, a duration, and an end. And see that they are changing all the time. And we can see also during the day how our emotions all the time change. One time we are comfortable, we expand. One time we are not comfortable, we contract. Now ask yourself, who am I? Am I the emotions, the expansion and contraction? Or am I the one who is aware of the expansion and contraction? And see that it is very clear that we are the one who are aware of the emotions, of this expansion and contraction. But we are not the expansion and contraction or the emotions. And now check, you who is aware, do you end when the expansion ends and changes into contraction? Do you start again when contraction starts? Do you change when they change between themselves, or only the expansion and contraction changes? You see that you who are aware, you are always there, not temporary, like the sensations. And although the sensation can be very strong and it seems as if you are changing with them, actually you just continue to be aware. Only one time you are aware of expansion and another time of contraction. A few moments to contemplate, to see. And then slowly, first think of something nice, somebody you love or whatever, a nice situation, and then release your attention and take a deep breath. Okay, so this was very short, so we have to do it more tomorrow, and we will go deeper into more, maybe specific emotions if you want to check them. But for now, I invite you until our meeting tomorrow to start to see how all the things around you or inside you are objects of perception, how all of them have a beginning, a duration, and an end, and how they change all the time, the outside and the inside, the ideas, the thoughts, the emotions. And every time see that you are the one who is aware, who are aware of these things, of these objects, but actually you are not changing or not temporary as they change. And then you can see, okay, one time you're happy and then 1 hour afterwards you are sad, and then like this again you're comfortable and uncomfortable, and you have a thought of the world is wonderful, and a minute later the world is a horrible place. And start to see how all of them change. And every time you ask, who am I? Ask it really, who am I? Am I now the thought, or am I the one who is aware of the thought, of the feeling? And you will see what answer you will get again and again. So practice, and also practice in the morning this prepare the mind for the lecture, and we will meet tomorrow at 10 o'clock. I see there are some questions. I will answer them tomorrow. And that is asking what is the service, how thoughts and emotions serve us. And Inbal is asking, why is it so difficult to distinguish between thoughts and me? So I will answer this tomorrow because we have to finish. And I hope it was interesting for you. I hope you were able to see. And again, I will just say that even if it was difficult and not very clear, don't worry. It's only a matter of practice. And when we go in this journey of yoga, we actually practice it every day to distinguish again and again between us and the rest of the changing world until it becomes extremely clear. Okay, so let's finish with a thank you. Just close your eyes and bring your palms together, and we can say thank you for the pleasure of meeting here and practicing and studying together, and may the result of all the effort we've done today be for the benefit of all creation. Thank you very much for watching. Have a pleasant day or night. And see you around, and goodbye.